Just kidding. Good afternoon and welcome to Senate meeting number 7. We'll go ahead and get started with making sure we're set with all of our campuses. So I just want to welcome all of our campus presidents and senators. We'll start with downtown. Samin, how are you all doing?
Hi, Donna. Very well, thank you.
Excellent. We'll move over to Polytechnic and Nancy. How's everyone doing now?
We're good here.
Thank you. Everybody's looking good here in Tempe, so thank you, everyone. And then Owen in West Campus.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Thanks.
Thank you, Owen. All right, I'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. And remember, if we do lose video, a 10-minute recess will be taken to see if we can't resolve that. But if after 10 minutes we still don't have a video but have audio, we'll continue. If we happen to lose both, we'll just adjourn for the day and enjoy the lovely weather outside. So first, before we begin, I wanted to just take a moment to honor the life of Catherine Heenan, who unfortunately passed away this Saturday and lost her battle with ovarian cancer. Catherine was an English department senator for the University Senate in class from 2012 to 2015. She also served on the Academic Senate Personnel Committee from 2013 to 2015. So I just wanted to honor her service to the university and honor her service to Senate and her college as well. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead with just our quorum calculation, please. So you'll just, as you guys have probably gotten used to this now, select your campus on your clicker, remembering that it looks like it's dead, but I promise it's not. Thank you, everybody. All righty, we look like we have a quorum, so thank you. And then we'll go ahead with, as I like to call it, our Monday pop quiz. We test our students. We have to reciprocate. So this is a long one. Which of the following statements about elected Senate memberships is not true? Degree granting units number of senators is determined by the number of academic assembly members within the unit. Some non-degree units, for instance libraries, have Senate representation. The ordinary term of elected senators is 3 years. And selection D, the number of senators representing a unit is determined by the number of credit hours offered by a unit divided by the number of students enrolled in the unit's courses. This is why I'm not a math major. Thank you, everybody. Yes, D, that's correct. A little too complicated. So wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Well, we'll go ahead and begin our informational reports. And so at this time, I would really like to invite Dr. Morgan Olson. He is our ASU Executive Vice President and CFO. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Donna. Good afternoon. Pleasure to be with you. I was, though, told there'd be free pizza, Donna. No?
Well, that's how we got you here.
That's what I was afraid of. It's not the first time I've fallen for that. So, as I understand it, there were a couple of things that you wanted me to sort of update you on, which I'm happy to do. And if there are questions on anything that I'm supposed to be knowledgeable of, I'm happy to try to respond to that as well. I think the first item that was raised is security. So obviously that's always something of great importance to all of us in the university community. It's unfortunate to some extent that we that we do have to prepare for those sorts of things, but we believe it's far better to be prepared for something you hope won't happen than to be unprepared. So what we do is we actually have an emergency preparedness group, which is sort of a cross-functional group that includes the university's chief facilities officer, our emergency preparedness team. I know several of you have heard from Alan Clark, who's our executive director for emergency preparedness. It includes our chief information officer for IT security reasons and communications. It also includes the chief of the ASU Police Department and myself, our director of environmental health and safety, and I'm probably forgetting a function or two, but we meet monthly, and the whole goal there is to try to be, a learning organization. So every time that we become aware of something that happens, most often, fortunately, it's other places, sometimes other colleges and universities, but just as easily it could be any other public place around the country or the world. We try to use that as an opportunity to sort of assess the range of risks that may exist out there and to try to anticipate what could happen and to evaluate sort of our preparedness, and if we have countermeasures in place, and if we have done the work that we need to do in terms of giving people information about what to do in certain circumstances. So we meet on a monthly basis and try to kind of use that rip from the headlines sort of approach to identify things that may need attention. Oftentimes that involves need for assistance from other areas across the university or possibly even resources outside the institution. So we have a lot of different things that we're working on at any given time. But one of the biggest challenges, of course, is that Arizona State University is probably at least 4 communities, right? So we're geographically distributed in the valley, and each one of our locations has its unique aspects, and we pride ourselves on that one Sun Devil experience. But we also have to respond to local circumstances. And so, trying to communicate to people, understanding what people are concerned about, and helping them be able to access resources that sometimes may be necessary, sort of at the spur of the moment or in a stressful situation. We want to do as much as we possibly can to make that effective. We do maintain a certified police force on each of our campuses, and they're there for the safety of the university community. They very much believe in a community policing approach. They're not just there to give people tickets. In fact, they actually don't give people parking tickets, just for what that's worth. We have our folks in parking and transit services who provide that service for all of us who can't figure out where to park. But the police department basically there is to maintain safety, maintain an ongoing relationship with the university community, with our many thousands of visitors that we have every day, and of course to be a first responder in any type of circumstance where that might be necessary. And so we have worked on quite a number of things in the last couple of years. As you know, there now is a video that's available to faculty to use if they choose that can help people understand how to handle what we call an active shooter situation, which we hope never occurs, but again, far better to be prepared and understand what it is people should do in that type of a circumstance than to not have any idea of what to do. We work on securing all of our classrooms, all of our buildings. We have plans for resilience in all kinds of situations. Some of them may be weather-related. Strange as it may seem in a desert, we actually do have, flooding during our high precipitation season. So, how do you handle that type of an event? How do you handle the haboobs that we have in the fall? How do you handle extreme heat situations? All of those types of things we attempt to deal with. Oftentimes those situations can be rather challenging, but we attempt to work through them and also to communicate as effectively as we can with the university community. And so groups like this are actually very helpful to us in terms of trying to understand what people need, what they're concerned about, what they may have questions about, and to help us spread the word. I hope by now, I know we've had people come and talk to this group about the Live Safe tool that we have. I had another presentation just last week on the ASU app. How many of you actually have the ASU app on your smartphones, just out of curiosity? Quite a few of you. There's more and more functionality, including the LiveSafe functionality, for example, being built into that all the time. We're trying to position that as sort of a go-to resource. So rather than having to search out a number of locations, that chances are those types of things will be available from that one portal on our smartphones. So just an example of a few of the things that that we're working on. It's always a work in progress. Every time we think we have something sort of lined out, something new occurs. We like to do all of these things in a way that is supportive of the educational research process and is not doesn't interrupt people's daily activities or doesn't make their normal work more difficult. Sometimes there's a little bit of balancing that goes on there, to be perfectly honest. That's just the nature of the challenge at times. But we're here to support the university community to make sure that we have a safe and productive community in which everybody feels welcome. And I would say that we're always open to ideas, suggestions, concerns, etc. We are building out, for example, our closed-circuit video system that is there for safety purposes. Typically, that's in public locations. We try to balance, again, people's rights to privacy, but we also want to have tools that are available to support the community and to try to understand something that may have happened. Oftentimes, that's necessary, honestly, to identify particular threats and, well, what actually did happen in this circumstance. To be able to go back and check that record can be very valuable in terms of managing and reducing risks to the university community. So that's something that we continue to invest in. We're moving soon probably to the next iteration of our campus cards. You're familiar with the Sun and Pitchfork cards that are issued to everybody in the university community that are part of our access control system. They're part of our authentication system. There are a lot of services, banking if you choose it, other things that are available as a resource and a service to the university community. We're about to roll out sort of a new iteration of technology there that we think will be easier for people to use. You can use it in more situations and will have more robust feature sets to it. So just a couple of things that we're doing there, but Donna, maybe I should just, there are a couple of other things I was going to mention, but if there are questions or comments sort of about that general area, let me stop and just entertain any questions that people might have.
Up to you. We can do it in segments, or
What's best for you? I'll follow your normal protocol here.
Well, go ahead and you let us know what you want.
Okay.
We'll kind of track around to the different
Perfect.
campuses.
Okay, so the other thing that Donna let me know that you were interested in hearing about is sort of the physical development of the university. As I walked from the Fulton Center over here, I probably came across at least 4 different construction fences. So yes, it's a little bit like highway construction, no pain, no gain, but there are a lot of things going on. Really exciting, for example, the renovation of Hayden Library, our main library on this campus. We'll be opening part of that next fall, and then the rest of it in less than a year. I had the opportunity for a walkthrough a couple of weeks ago. I think the university community is going to be very thrilled and excited, when they see what's being created there. You're turning the library into really more of a place of congregation and collaboration with all kinds of learning and information tools under Jim's leadership. I think it's going to be very exciting. We're maintaining sort of the historic architecture, but bringing it up to some of today's standards in terms of the technology that's there, ease of access into the building. You will have a formal entry on the west side that I think will give us something that we sort of haven't had in the past. It'll make the library much more approachable, and more people will actually realize that it's there. And so I'm just touching on a couple of changes there, but that's very, very exciting. We're also in the process, of course, of renovating the Language and Literature building. We have that opportunity now because of the English department's move over to the southeast area of this campus. And we're using that as an opportunity to renew in phases that whole building, which frankly really needs it. So we're excited about that opportunity. I will mention also that if you have been by the intersection of university and rural recently, you probably have noticed that there's something going on the northwest corner of University and Rural. That is part of the Novus Innovation Corridor. It's phase 3 of Novus. And so within a couple of weeks, we're going to be having a public groundbreaking event on a dual flag hotel that will be directly across the street to the south from Wells Fargo Arena. That will be an amenity that will be available for people who want to be close to all of the organizations that are going to locate in Novus. And of course, it's a fantastic location as well for the Tempe campus. So I don't know about you, but I've noticed this intense need to collaborate in person around February from people in the upper Midwest where they want to escape the bomb cyclones. So this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for that. Your academic colleagues from around the world, I think it'd be a wonderful place for them to be related to our events. As you know, we have the Community 365 Union concept now, where we're trying to use all of our venues that historically have been for intercollegiate athletics only on a 24/7, 365 kind of a basis. And so we'll have lots of great events that it would be a great place for people who are attending to come and stay there. We'll also have the groundbreaking within about a month on our first commercial office building there, as well as shortly thereafter our first multifamily residential project. So we're kind of creating our new downtown Tempe, ASU Tempe campus environment. It's quite exciting. We think that there will be this really great street, Novus Place, that will be created running north-south between rural and the street to the west, which is Packard Drive. There will be this new street that at ground level, at pedestrian level, is going to have restaurants and other sort of hospitality-related venues. Up above it will be offices and multifamily residential. So I think it'll be a great place, grab a lunch, have a meeting with a small group, host people, et cetera. So we're really excited about this kind of rolling out. We've been working on it for several years. Along with that, I wanted to mention, because I know it's been a concern of many of us, is, all right, well, a lot more people. We've already got sort of a crowded downtown Tempe campus area. What's happening on that front to try to keep up with the level of development that we have there? The first thing I would say is that we are part of a much larger system. As big as the ASU Tempe campus is, we're part of the downtown Tempe area. And also, we experience people who are merely passing through, west to east, east to west, on their way to something else. All of that helps create what can be a very, busy environment, particularly around some of the drive times, and we're aware of that. So we've been working with the City of Tempe, as a municipality, the City of Tempe actually has the primary responsibility within, the city boundaries for the transportation system and the things that go along with it. Of course, we're vitally interested also in pedestrian safety, because we have a very walkable campus and people move back and forth. We're going to have a lot more of that. On the south side of University along Rural, we will continue to expand the research part of the Tempe campus. And in fact, if you went over there today, this would be the southwest corner of University and Rural intersection. You would see signs up for ISTV 7, Interdisciplinary Science and Technology Building 7, which is going to be the new home for the Global Institute of Sustainability, the School of Sustainability, Institute of Human Origins, and several other teaching and research functions. So it's very, very exciting. It's going to sort of extend what we're doing in that research district. The last building, of course, was Biodesign C, which was just honored as the Outstanding Project of the Year in the education space in New York City on Saturday night. But that will also mean that there's going to be a lot more interest in people going back and forth, north to south, across University Drive. And so we're working with the City of Tempe on a variety of strategies. We identified about 8 different things where we think we have an opportunity to sort of address, the continued development. Even if the university were doing nothing, all you have to do is sort of step outside and do a 360, and you can see all the things that are happening in this area. We have the lowest vacancy rate for commercial buildings in the entire valley. We have lots of businesses moving in here. People want to live here, and so it's in high demand, which means increasing urbanization in some ways. That's a good thing in terms of new urbanism and being able to live close to where we work. But it also means that we need to make some adjustments in terms of our transportation system. So we're working with the city in about 8 different projects. Some of them actually will be even bigger than thinking about the university and the city together. They're actually sort of larger level problems than that in terms of our mass transit system, in terms of our highway systems, et cetera. So there's something called the Metropolitan Area Governments, which is a multi-governmental, multi-city level planning entity that also is part of providing resources for some of these kind of mega projects. And so, as you might imagine, when they do this next round of allocations of funding for these types of things, there'll be a lot of competition. A lot of people have ideas, ranging from fixing streets, adding highways, extending the mass transit system, modern streetcar, buses, et cetera, et cetera. And so one of the things that we're working on is we are working with a planning team of consultants to really validate these ideas we have for feasibility and for cost, and we want to take that information and work through our government relations team and the city to make sure that our projects are right up there on the table, toward the top of the list when those discussions are being held to best position ourselves for these kinds of resources. So all of that is ongoing, and I think the reality is that we're going to be here in downtown Tempe, an increasingly urban area with increasing density, but we're focused on doing everything that we can within our power to try to adjust to that in terms of pedestrian safety and vehicular flow through the area, where do people park, et cetera. There's also, of course, a debate about how much longer we'll all be in our individual cars. And so, we're trying to do that in a way that sort of anticipates the possibility of inflection points in the future, or maybe all of us will, just summon our next autonomous vehicle and we won't even own personal vehicles anymore. So a lot of stuff going on there, but we're trying to stay out in front of that, and we're trying to make sure that, as the priorities are set at the metropolitan level, that we're right there at the table. So let me stop, Donna, with that, and I'd be happy to answer questions about either of those things or anything else that might be on people's minds.
Thank you. You're fine where you are. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Olson. I'll go ahead then and start with downtown Phoenix campus, see if there are any for Dr. Olson.
No questions, thank you.
All right, thanks, Amin. Nancy, do we have any questions in Polytechnic?
No questions here.
All right. Any questions here in Tempe for Dr. Olson? Please. We have a couple questions.
Yeah, one thing I wondered if you could tell the Senate is about the two issues you brought up, but tell us a little bit about the new tuition plan that was rolled out on Friday.
Right, yeah, so big deal. This is something on which a whole team of people, including a lot of folks from Provost Searle's office, as well as our planning office and various parts of my organization. We think there was an opportunity there. There's nothing like eating a little bit of your own cooking to sort of, get a sense for how good of a cook you are. Most of us have had, a child or a close acquaintance, go through ASU, and the first time you sort of see that view that bill from a consumer standpoint, it's like, wow, first page, second page, third page, a lot of pages. So we have a lot of different, fees. So one of the things that we're doing is we're consolidating a lot of those fees down to a single fee that sits on top of tuition. There will be sort of 4 tiers of tuition based on the nature of the programs, and we think we can get pretty much anybody's bill on a single page. The term that tends to get used, I don't know if I like it that much, but the term that tends to get used is transparency, so people will be able to anticipate and understand what's coming. Along with that, certainly President Crow has been very focused on access and affordability, and we have been able to maintain a very modest increase in the sticker price and also the net price, in other words, net of tuition or net of financial aid, for a long period of time, almost a decade now, after coming out of the Great Recession. And we've committed to continuing to hold those sticker price increases to 3% or less for Arizona resident students for, if I recall correctly, a period of about 17 years total. which is a long time. You know, it's sort of tough to anticipate everything that might happen, but this is all part of making sure that we're sort of able to live up to the charter, you know, that we can be an inclusive university. We give everybody, you know, who can benefit from an ASU education the opportunity to do so. And so we're kind of excited about it. Obviously, the Board of Regents has to review and approve it, but we've certainly gotten good input from the various student leadership groups, and as we think about it, we think this is something that will be very well received, and our sticker prices will be the lowest, continue to be the lowest among the 3 institutions in the state, and in fact probably even improve relative to our 2 comparators there, which we think is also very important in terms of, you know, sort of our competitive positioning within the state, and all toward making sure that we can provide opportunity to as many students as possible. So we think it'll be a lot easier to administer, you know, from the standpoint of the institution and the various people who have to work with those processes, but will also be a lot easier on students and their parents and other people who help, you know, our students get through their college educations and you know, paying for it and understanding what's coming, you know, each year, et cetera. So we're kind of excited about it, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out here in the next couple of weeks. And then, of course, you know, I think we're anticipating it will be approved, and you know, next fall we'll figure out if there's anything that we neglected to think about. We've got a team of really smart people working on this for a long time to try to anticipate any eventuality. But you know, when you have over 76,000 students on one of our campuses and another 37,000 or so online, there's bound to be somebody who will have some unique circumstance that we may not have thought of, and you know, we'll address that. The only other thing I will add is, you know, that we made a commitment to provide additional aid so that we don't have individuals who have, I think for resident students, it's any more than a 3% sticker price increase, and 5 mark on, non-resident and international students. So, you know, we feel like that's a pretty significant commitment to access and affordability, particularly when resources are tight, but also, you know, the right thing to do from an educational standpoint. Correct. Yeah. So at least for right now, you know, graduate tuition will essentially be assessed the same way it has been in the past. Although I think it's at least possible that we may consider, if this is received well and seems to work well, extending that to the, you know, the rest of the population. Mark, anything else you'd like to add? Thank you. Is there another question? Yeah.
Stefanetta Cogna from the School of Mathematics. In regards to safety, you mentioned that you're in the process of securing classrooms and buildings. Can you provide a bit more detail on that, what exactly you're doing? For example, can classrooms be locked from the inside? Stuff like that. I'm thinking, of course, active shooters situation.
Absolutely, and we spent a great deal of time on this. You know, one of the challenges that we have is that, you know, the university being over 100 years old, and we have over 25 million gross square feet of built environment. Anything we do, you know, it's a challenge, you know, to implement. But yes, we have identified an approach that we think will allow classrooms to be locked from the inside, and so we're going to be implementing that in, you know, sort of a phased basis over the next couple of years. And of course, we want to work very closely with the colleges and schools to make sure they're comfortable with it, and that you know, people in the classrooms are trained on how to use that. You know, there actually is some debate about whether that's a good thing or not a good thing. Obviously, if there's somebody outside my door with a gun, it's a good thing if I can lock it. On the other hand, you know, will you lock somebody in that you'd rather not? You know, can you unlock it, you know, in a stressful situation if you need to? So we're advancing carefully on those things, you know, with a goal of providing that option, you know, to people so that you know, they have an additional tool, if you will, in their toolkit if that unfortunate situation were to occur.
Thank you. And so I'm not seeing any other questions from Tempe. Owen, any questions on West Campus, please?
None here. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, a lot, no doubt, is clearly ongoing at ASU on all campuses. So thank you again, Dr. Olson. So I'll go ahead and begin a report with some of the things that we have currently ongoing at Senate as well. Always, I'd like to start with the Senator Spotlight. Our March senator is Karen, I practiced this before, and now I'm going to butcher it, so my apologies, Karen Watanabe. She came to us in 2016, but was previously at Tulane University and Oregon Health and Science University. She joined Senate in order to better understand ASU as a whole and to meet her faculty peers from other units and campuses. Karen describes how ASU's size makes it challenging for any of its new members to fully understand the relationships between academic units, administrations, and the infrastructure. She appreciates how the Senate provides a forum to begin understanding the university as a whole and to give faculty a voice with respect to university policies and decision making. And as a senator, she's learned about the many facets of ASU and the diverse points of view of our faculty, which sincerely couldn't be achieved without, involvement at the school level, the college level, and to include all of our faculty as well. Karen has been part of the Services and Facilities Committee, and what's nice is also provides kind of that unique, each campus really has a unique personality, and Karen sits in the West Campus, so provides that also unique perspective and issues that need to be addressed within those committees. And a good point to note for later is that she would like to serve on the Personnel Committee, so just FYI, when we're needing to rotate people off, Karen, I've got you on mind. So I just want to thank Karen again for all of her great service to the university. I also wanted to introduce, we've been very fortunate to have our former director, Chuck Barbie, continue to help us. But I also wanted to introduce our new Senate manager, Maria Cuoca, who is also an ASU alum. So we appreciate that. And she comes from the Educational Outlook and Student Services Office. So thank you very much. Her official start date will be April 8th. Is that correct? Perfect. Perfect. So thank you and welcome. A few other things. Morgan did kind of allude to this. The next ABOR meeting is in April 11th and 12th. So there'll be a cohort of us that'll be attending that in the South, yes, University of Arizona. I'm like, where are we going? University of Arizona. And so our past president, Igor Shakovsky, will be attending with us, and Owen Anderson, also current president of West Campus, and then, of course, Chris Kaiselka, our Senate Secretary and Chair of the Committee on Committees, will be attending. So I suspect some of the conversations will be discussions on the new tuition, and then, of course, I think we have a first read of the new language for general education. That's been an ongoing kind of refinement. So looking forward to that. We also, I'm not sure if this is prophetic, we'll be meeting with President Crow, the UAC, on April 15th. So taxes, again, are also coming up. But we'll be meeting with our president again and continuing our discussion on some of the key issues we've been focusing on within the Senate over the last, several months and years. We'll also, just as a reminder, we have our second leadership opportunity. Just as a reminder, we had a really good showing at our first one. I really encourage you if you, like I said, if you have the opportunity and the availability, this next one is, as you can see, Persuasion, Advancing Ideas Through Influence. That's going to be led by Professor Jennifer Nargang within the Department of Management and Entrepreneurship. So that's this coming, Monday, April 8th, 1:30 to 3, Wrigley Hall if you can attend in person. Otherwise, there is that opportunity to kind of Zoom in as well. All right, so if you were unable to attend the first one, I really strongly encourage you. It's just such a unique and great opportunity, and it's just been a nice learning experience. I know they do also have follow-up surveys, so just as a reminder, I know that really provides them some great input and feedback and helps kind of tailor their ongoing offerings throughout what will be the next academic year. So any feedback, if you could take just a few seconds to fill the surveys out if you had a chance to visit the first session. And then the last piece really is just academic assembly elections are coming up. So just keep that in mind. I know Chris Kaiselka will be presenting a quick report on this, so I won't steal her thunder, but just consider either nominating your colleagues or self-nomination for the upcoming elections within next month. So on that note, I will go ahead and we'll move on to some of the new business, and I'll invite Lily, if she would come up to go through an extensive list of motions.
Hi, everyone. The following motions and proposals will be taken up at the CAPC meeting this Thursday, March 28th, and then will be brought back to the Senate for a vote at our next meeting on April 22nd. So, as always, if you have any questions, concerns, suggestions, please get them to me, preferably by this Thursday, so we can make sure that they are addressed at the CAPC meeting. And then certainly let us know before the next Senate meeting, so we can make sure that all parties that have an interest can be represented. The items listed in Appendix A will be brought up at the CAPC meeting, but will not be brought up before the Senate. So if you have any questions or concerns or suggestions, please get those to me by this Thursday morning. Now, so here goes the motions. Request from the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication for the establishment of a graduate degree, MA in Investigative Journalism. Request from the Mary Lou Fulton Teachers College, Educational Leadership and Innovation for the establishment of a graduate degree, MED in Global Education. Request from the College of Health Solutions for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BS in Sports Science and Performance Programming. Request from the College of Health Solutions for the name change of a graduate degree from MS in Nutrition to MS in Nutritional Sciences. Request from the School of Sustainability for the name change of an undergraduate certificate from Food Systems Sustainability to Sustainable Food Systems. Request from the School of Sustainability for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Global Sustainability Leadership. Request from the School of Sustainability for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Food Policy and Sustainability Leadership. Request from the School of Sustainability for the establishment of an undergraduate certificate, Biomimicry. Request from the School of Sustainability for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BS in Sustainable Food Systems. Request from the Herberger Institute for Design and Arts, School of Arts, Media and Engineering for the establishment of an undergraduate degree and a concentration, BS in Digital Culture, Media Processing. Request from the College of Nursing and Health Innovation for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Emergency Nurse Practitioner. Request from the Herberger Institute for Design and Arts, the Design School, for the name change of a graduate degree from MS in Built Environment to MS in Architecture. That's all.
Thank you, Lily. I'll just go around to the different campuses to see if anybody has any questions or for discussion. Samin, on the downtown campus, any questions or concerns?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Nancy and Polly?
No questions.
Thank you. We're fine over here in Tempe. And then, Owen, anything on West Campus?
None here either.
All right, thank you. All right then. So again, just to reiterate, if there are any questions or concerns, please, make sure to get those to Liz this Thursday. And then we'll go ahead and move on to our old business. We're looking at new course proposals. And for our consent agenda, these were sent a couple weeks ago for your review. And just remembering, as always, we vote on these in bulk unless a request to remove a course from the consent agenda for discussion is made. So again, I'll invite Lily back to go through her list.
Thank you, Donna. The following proposals were approved at the last CAPC meeting on February 28th. Request from the College of Nursing and Health Innovation for the name change of a graduate degree from MS in Aging and Lifespan Development to MS in Aging. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, Department of English for the name change of a graduate degree from MAS in American Media and Popular Culture to MAS in Film and Media Studies. Request from the W.P. Carey School of Business, Department of Supply Chain Management for the establishment of a graduate degree, MS in Supply Chain Management. Request from the IRA Fulton Schools of Engineering, the Polytechnic School for the establishment of a graduate degree, MS in Graphic Innovation Technology. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Civic and Economic Thought and Leadership for the establishment of an undergraduate degree, BS in Civic Economic Thought and Leadership. Request from the New College of Interdisciplinary Arts and Sciences, School of Mathematical and Natural Sciences for the establishment of a graduate degree, PSM in Forensic Science. Request from the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, School of Life Sciences for the establishment of a graduate certificate, Computational Life Sciences.
Thank you, Lily. So again, I'll go to the campuses and see if there's, before we call for a vote, to see if there's any courses that need to be removed. Anything on the downtown campus?
Nothing at the downtown campus. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Nancy, anything in Polytechnic?
Nothing at the Polytechnic campus.
I don't see any concerns here in Tempe. And then Owen, please, anything from West Campus?
None here, thank you.
All right. Well, then we'll go ahead and call for a vote, please.
Real quick, Donna, are we voting new courses or?
I was going to say, I skipped over
here?
one, so I can, so thank you to all the people who caught that. We can go back and,
I'll go ahead and do the curricular programs, and we'll go back and do the courses afterwards.
That would be perfect, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for that, moving our questions backward. So go ahead and do you approve the curriculum and academic program consent agenda, please? That's good, thank you.
All right, last call for votes.
Perfect. Motion is passed. Thank you, everyone. And then we'll go ahead and call for a vote.
You want to go to the
Yeah,
campuses first to see
pardon
if
me.
there's any courses to remove.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, let me again start with Samin. Any courses that are to be removed from the new course proposal?
No, no courses to be removed.
Perfect. Nancy, any courses to be removed?
No courses removed.
Excellent. We're fine here in Tempe. Excellent. And then Owen, please, any courses to be removed?
None here.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll go ahead and vote on Senate Motion 2019-40, please. Good.
Okay,
Yeah.
last call to vote.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. The motion is passed. And then we do have just a couple of committee chair reports, please. I'll go ahead and ask Chris Kaiselka, chair of our Committee on Committees, to provide her report, please.
Well, the Academic Assembly elections are coming up soon. Each campus will be electing a president-elect. And then we also have elections for members of the grievance committees. I'd like to thank the members of the committee at this time for their efforts over the last few weeks to identify potential candidates for these important positions. So we are at the point actually to set up the voting system to get ready for our election. So programming for that is currently underway. If all things go as tested and planned, the academic assemblies will be voting in the third week of April. So everyone will be receiving an email announcement around April 8th. That's when you will know who the candidates are, as well as specific deadlines for voting. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chris. I really appreciate that. And we do have one more report, please, from Helene Osipov, Chair of the University Services and Facilities Committee.
Hi. So the committee met with Nicole Woma and Bruce Nevin, and we talked about a couple of things that have come up several times. One of them has to do with the walk-only zones. They would request to please extend and make the whole university 24/7 a walk-only zone. Well, that's not possible, much as we would like it. However, they are willing to look at various areas that seem to be of particular concern, such as, for instance, the Language and Lit building, where they're doing all the renovation, has blocked off a huge area of Katy Mall, and that really should be a walk-only zone just because it's way too crowded. So if there's any areas that you want them to look at so that they can count and see how many people are actually using the area, how many bicycles and other wheeled things are going through there, please let me know, and I'll ask them to go and take a survey, and they'll see if it's feasible to either extend the hours there or to, for whatever temporary reason, such as by language and literature, to make it a walk-only zone. So send me an email for any areas of concern. The other issue had to do with cleanliness and the janitorial services, that kind of thing. We do contract with Olympus to do the janitorial work. And there is a liaison at least one liaison in every building, and probably several. So if you do have a concern, find out who your liaison is. The executive secretary or executive or office manager, whoever is in charge of your office, should know who the liaison is. And make sure that you tell this person if there are any problems, if you need to have the trash picked up a little bit more frequently, if there's things that haven't been done the way they're supposed to be done. Because the liaison meets with Olympus, a representative from Olympus once a month. And if they don't know that there's a problem, they're going to think that everything is fine. So make sure that you do talk to them, find out who your liaison is, keep your liaison up to date. They're going to be renewing the contract in October, so if there's anything that you think really needs to be done, such as more frequent trash pickups, I mean, if you've got, several people in your office and a teeny tiny little trash can, you may want to have more frequent trash pickups, or if there's, doors left open, whatever. But again, make sure you contact the liaison, that way they can talk to Olympus, and that way they can see if they can fix anything. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Helene. That's very helpful. I'm sure most of us don't realize we have a liaison in our building, so that would be helpful to keep that option open, and that way report any concerns so that we have a full consensus of if something needs to be maintained better. With that, that is all of our committee chair reports. I do want to go ahead and open the floor for any questions or statements or topics of interest. I'll go ahead and continue alphabetically, as always. I'll start with Samin in downtown Phoenix campus.
No, nothing to discuss. Thank you.
Thank you, Samin. Let's see, on Polytechnic campus.
Yes, do you have a comment?
Please.
Hi, this is Joe Christowski out of the Fulton Schools of Engineering. I kind of follow up with respect to Helen's comments about the walk-free zones, walk-only zones. There's been a lot of discussion on faculties and concerns about skateboards, and it's becoming a little bit of a dangerous situation in a number of occasions where faculty or other students have been hurt by students who are using skateboards to basically drive or ride them right next to the buildings. And so I would be interested if we could do something about creating some kind of a bylaw or regulation or something to limit the use of skateboards, especially near or inside the buildings, because some of the students have been using these in buildings too. So just to raise it as a concern at this time.
Thank you very much. That would be rather dangerous if you've got people, not just on, Thank you very much for raising that. We will definitely consider that. I appreciate it. Any other comments or ideas to add from Polytechnic, please?
Nothing more here.
All right, thank you. And then here in Tempe, please, if you'd identify yourself.
Sure. So my name's Crystal Bryce. I'm in the Sanford School. So part of my role is working with faculty and students whenever they have a situation with a student and academic integrity, right, whatever that might be. So recently we had a situation where we had a parent contacting one of our faculty members repeatedly. So it got to the point where the faculty member felt as though she was being harassed. This email came, right, email after email after email. We escalated it. It went up to the dean of students. So, right, it got to that level. And they said, you know, we can talk with the student, but we can't do anything for the parent. And so my concern in this role is that, right, this happened once. Now, right, who knows? It could happen again. But what protections are there in place, or can we think about types of protections to help the faculty in this situation? So the first suggestion that we got from the person we were working with was that she could just block the emails. But that doesn't address the concern of you Google your name, you find your right? You Google me, you find my address, you find if I have kids, you find all of this information about me. So is there any way who can we talk to, or how can we help our faculty in this situation? Because we are well equipped to help the students, right? They reached out to the daughter, they reached out to right, anyone who might be concerned. We have these people we can contact, but that's not really helping our faculty feel safe in their workplace.
That is a sincere concern. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Yeah. Please, yes. Yes. Our Vice Provost, Deb Clark, is going to share some information, so thank you.
Just as an immediate response, I mean, I think there's probably going to need to be a more elaborate response, but ASU PD, if faculty are feeling, or if anybody is feeling unsafe within their workspace, that's the first place to go, and they can help set up plans. They can strategize with you to try to identify, you know, a pattern that will help, you know, protect you, and depending on the nature of the threat, you know, whether or not it needs to go beyond that. So I would start there as a first step. Mm-hmm. Okay, so again, you know, the PD, also my office, if faculty are having concerns and questions, you know, within this world of internet connections, I'm not sure that there's a lot that can be done to block that completely. So our primary focus is on physical safety, obviously. But
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. We have another individual. Please, if you would take your time and just identify yourself too, please.
I'm Nisa Cortez. I'm with the Sanford School. So just as thinking about this, I have a friend who works as a public defender. They're able to take their information offline. So like if you have a house, because your name is associated with a title, that's public record. But because of their job, they can take down their information, redacted, I think it's what it's called. But faculty or people can't do that unless they file a restraining order first. So something to think about, like, is there a way, again, this is definitely going to be a big picture, long-term thing, but considering there's faculty that teach, I have 1,000 students this semester alone, that's a lot of people that can easily look up me, and if you look up my address, you look up me, you can look up my address, my family's address, my parents, my brother, they're all there. So that's just something to keep about.
No, it's not a small or subtle concern either, so thank you for sharing that. Appreciate it. Any other questions or concerns to share from Tempe? All right, we'll go ahead. Owen, anything to share from West Campus, please?
I have the right to remove.
No, we don't. Thank you.
I have.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We do have one question.
Would I?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Hi,
Just a
Donna.
minute. No, did you push the button? Is on.
Which one?
Yeah, you're logged
We
on.
can hear you, yeah. Just if you would identify yourself, please.
Hi, Donna. This is Hala King. I have a question. Regarding the graduation, it's in 46 weeks. And I was wondering, other campus, why on this campus we always expect the faculty to pay for the cap, for the gown rental, and also, not only that, we have to pay also for the parking fee. You guys tell us we have to really honor our students, celebrate their successes. I want to know whether there is a particular reason why you guys do not pick up the tab.
That's a great question. I do not have an answer for that, but I can certainly look into that for sure, for sure. But yeah, I appreciate you're bringing that up. I know it does get to be an expense. Thank you.
Karen Watanabe that you just introduced, she's willing to let me use her cap and gown, but we are really rivals. I'm a Stanford graduate. She's a Berkeley graduate. So it's going to be really with a very heavy heart that I'm going to wear the Berkeley.
But you're saving $1, so you know.
Fair enough, fair enough. Thank you, though, for bringing that to my attention. I will follow up with that. I appreciate that. Any other, anything else from West Campus?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Owen. Well, with that, then, I will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for your time this afternoon and attention. Have a great week. Take care.